Graham Foster's return was already surprising enough, considering he had faked his death for 6 years. So his reappearance alone carried a strong sense of unpredictability. But what makes this storyline even more compelling is not just the shock of his return, but the way Graham is slowly revealing a different side of himself. He is still polished, sharp, and full of carefully loaded remarks, yet beneath that cold exterior, there is now a sense of understanding that not everyone at Home Farm possesses, especially Joe Tate. At this point, Joe comes across as someone completely consumed by ambition and money. What matters to him is expanding his power and securing more advantage for himself, rather than truly caring that Cain is being pushed to the edge of a mental breakdown. Cain is dealing with far too much all at once. Moira is in prison, Butler's farm is falling into crisis, and, most painfully of all, he is facing a prostate cancer diagnosis. While Joe sees all of that chaos as nothing more than an opportunity to manipulate the situation, Graham can see Cain's real exhaustion. It feels as though Graham no longer sees Cain simply as an old enemy, but as a man who has been cornered by fate. That is why Graham revealing the plan to sell some of Butler's farm's machinery to Cain becomes such an important detail. That action alone is not enough to prove that Graham's return is driven by entirely noble motives, but it does show that he is not simply Joe's obedient pawn. Graham is playing his own game. And what makes it interesting is that his motivation seems to come not only from self-interest, but also from pity, or perhaps even from a trace of conscience left behind after everything that has happened. When he admits to Rhona that he knows about Cain's illness and that this is why he has chosen to position himself between the Dingles and the Tates, the character suddenly becomes far more layered. He is not exactly good, but he is no longer someone who acts with complete emotional detachment either. For Cain, the tragedy lies in the fact that he is always trying to force himself to be the one who carries everything alone. The moment he visits Moira in prison and confesses that his illness is actually more serious than he had previously admitted shows that he can no longer keep hiding the truth. What makes it heartbreaking is not only that his condition has worsened, but that Moira discovers he has kept this secret from her for an entire month. Moira's reaction is especially moving because even while she is going through her own crisis, the first thing she cares about is Cain's health. She is hurt because he kept it from her, hurt because the farm is still facing more turmoil, but in the end, she still puts him before everything else. It is such a Moira response, wounded, shaken, yet still full of love and practicality. Meanwhile, Kim Tate brings a different tone to the story. When she makes it clear that she is unhappy with Joe and his dirty tactics, it is not simply frustration because the plan is not going the way she wanted. It feels more like Kim understands just how terrible Moira's situation really is. Joe may feel that he is not being appreciated, but perhaps the real problem is that he does not realize that winning through manipulation does not always earn respect. For Kim, power has always come with calculation. But she is experienced enough to know that there are moments when you cannot keep stepping on people without consequences. In my view, this development is opening up a very gripping path for the episodes ahead. Graham may continue to become the most unpredictable figure in the story because he is standing on the line between calculation and compassion. If Cain keeps falling deeper under the weight of illness and family pressure, Graham may well make even more decisions that go against Joe. As for Joe, if he continues to look at everything so coldly and place self-interest above all else, he may soon lose both Kim's trust and his grip on the situation. That is also why the current storyline feels so compelling. It is not just a clash between two sides, but a moment where each person's true nature is gradually being exposed under pressure.